The highest paid professional in Dubai today is not the senior vice president sitting in a corner office in DIFC. You look at the traditional corporate executive earning, $350,000 a year. They wear the bespoke suit, they drive the German luxury car, and they possess the prestigious title. Society tells you they have won the economic game, but if you look at their actual balance sheet, the brutal, unvarnished math of their daily existence, they are functionally broke. They are bleeding capital through taxes, corporate overheads, and lifestyle inflation. Meanwhile, a 32-year-old AI integration specialist sitting in a cafe in Dubai Hills, operating on a remote work visa, earning $200,000 a year and generating 3 times the actual liquid wealth of that executive. Before I give you the exact, uncompromising mathematical blueprint to escape the traditional corporate tax trap and execute the ultimate geopolitical arbitrage, hit the subscribe button and press the notification bell. I post daily videos showing you exactly how to navigate the global labor market using cold, hard engineering logic. You do not want to miss these architectures. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to completely dismantle the illusion of corporate salary. I'm going to show you why gross pay is a vanity metric, why traditional expat packages are dead in 2026, and how elite professionals are using Dubai's infrastructure to extract maximum capital from global markets. Grab a notebook, it is time to stop earning locally and start extracting globally. Welcome back, I'm Dr. HR. To understand why my approach to the executive compensation is aggressively different from the standard financial advice, you must understand my underlying architecture. I hold a PhD in Human Resources, a master's from prestigious Tata Institute of Social Sciences TISS in Mumbai, and a bachelor's in Computer Engineering. I do not look at a career as a ladder to be climbed, I look at it as a systems engineering problem. You are an asset. Your goal is to maximize the return on your cognitive output while minimizing systematic friction and taxation. Operating on the ground here in Dubai since 2010, consulting for apex corporate entities, I see exactly who is retaining the wealth in the city and who is just passing it through to their landlord and the government. We must establish a cognitive fence around the concept right now. This is not a digital nomad lifestyle blog about the working from the beach. This is the structural macroeconomics teardown of how to weaponize your location. Let us break down the zero tax arbitrage, the corporate overhead trap, and the great executive migration. Phase 1. The zero tax arbitrage advantage. We must first cycle the most critical mathematical concept of the 2026 labor market. Gross pay is a vanity metric. Net retention is the only number that determines your survival. Let me cycle that again. The number on your employment contract does not matter. The only number that matters is what remains in your sovereign control after the state and the system have taken their cut. Let us look at the traditional executive. You secure a $350,000 USD executive director role in London, Toronto, or New York. You feel wealthy, but you are operating in a high tax hub. After federal income tax, state or provincial tax, national insurance, and the social contribution, your effective tax rate is floating between 40% and 50%. Your $350,000 gross salary instantly vaporizes into $190,000 of actual usable liquidity. Now look at the remote worker in Dubai. They secure a $200,000 USD contract with a Silicon Valley tech firm, but they execute the labor from Dubai under the remote work visa program. The UAE has a 0% personal income tax. The remote worker gross pay is $200,000. Their net retention is $200,000. Despite earning $150,000 less on paper, the remote worker has a higher take-home pay than a traditional executive. They have executed a zero tax arbitrage. They are leveraging the high-paying compensation bands of Western tech hub while shielding that capital inside the tax-free architecture of Middle East. If you do not understand this math, you will spend your entire life chasing promotions that only bumps you into higher tax bracket, effectively working 3 months out of the year exclusively to fund the government. Phase 2. The corporate overhead trap. The tax discrepancy is just the first layer of the bleeding. We must now look at the catastrophic financial drain of the traditional office-based executive in previous decade. Moving to the UAE as an executive meant you received a legendary expat package. The company paid for your luxury villa, they paid for your children's private schooling, and they paid for your annual flight. In 2026, those packages are dead. Following the implementation of the corporate tax in the UAE, CFOs aggressively compressed the HR budgets. Today, everything is rolled into a single total target cash number. You bear the burden of the inflation. This creates the corporate overhead trap. When you are a traditional executive working in the DIFC or Business Bay, your physical presence requires a massive, invisible financial infrastructure. 1. The proximity premium. You are forced to rent an expensive apartment in downtown Dubai or the marina just to survive the grueling Sheikh Zayed Road commute. 2. The aesthetic tax. You must maintain a high-end bespoke wardrobe. You must attend the expensive Friday networking brunches. You must hold the Capital Club membership. You are pressured into keeping up with the luxury corporate standard of your peers. 3. The transportation bleed. You are paying premium prices for luxury car leases, Salik tolls, and VIP parking. The remote worker bypasses this entire trap. Because they are not tethered to a physical desk, they do not pay the proximity premium. They do not need to impress a vice president in the elevator with a Rolex. Their overhead is stripped down to an absolute mathematical baseline required for a high-speed connectivity and a comfortable optimized environment. The executive is spending $80,000 a year just to maintain the appearance of being an executive. The remote worker is taking that same $80,000 and dumping it into a high-yield dividend portfolio or a real estate asset. Phase 3, the global market versus local pay scale. You might ask, why don't executives in Dubai just demand higher salaries to cover the overheads? Because the local corporate salary caps have stagnated. The UAE is a highly competitive, hyper-saturated labor market. If a company needs a marketing director, there are 500 highly qualified expats from Europe, India, and the Levant willing to take the job. This massive supply compresses local wages. The remote worker does not play in the local sandbox. They use Dubai as a base of operation, but they source their capital from the global market. The fractional exploitation. Top-tier remote workers in 2026 are executing the fractional executive model we discussed in the previous masterclass. They are not selling 40 hours a week to a single local real estate firm. They are selling their high-level cognitive architecture to 3 different AI startups based in London, Austin, and Singapore. Each startup pays them a $10,000 monthly retainer for specialized, high-leverage strategic output. That is $30,000 a month or $360,000 a year, tax-free. No local corporate entity in the UAE is going to pay a mid-level manager $360,000 a year. The infrastructure advantage. Dubai's 2026 infrastructure is mathematically perfect for this. The time zone GMT+4 allows you to overlap the end of the Asian workforce, have a fully operational overlap with Europe and the UK, and catch the morning sinks of the US East Coast. You are a geographic fulcrum. You can process the data from Bangalore in the morning, synthesize it, and deploy it to the New York in the afternoon, all while sitting in a tax-free jurisdiction. Phase 4, the lifestyle leverage and geo-arbitrage. Let us move beyond the pure financial capital and discuss the ultimate currency of the modern elite, time wealth. The traditional executive spends 60 to 90 minutes a day commuting in traffic. Over a year, that's 350 hours. Essentially a full month of waking life, vaporized staring at the tail light of a Nissan Patrol on Al Khail Road. The remote worker reclaims these 350 hours, but they do not use that time to watch Netflix. They execute lifestyle leverage. They take those 10 to 15 hours saved weekly and they reinvest them. They use that bandwidth to audit secondary income streams. They spend that time analyzing the real estate market, perhaps managing a diversified portfolio of properties in the UAE and India. They use that recovered cognitive load to learn how to deploy AI agents to automate their deliverables. Geo-Arbitrage. Because the remote worker is untethered, they deploy the geo-arbitrage. While the executive is forced to pay 180,000 dirhams for a cramped apartment near the financial center, the remote worker rents a massive, high-tech villa in an emerging, high-value neighborhood like Dubai South or the new phases of Al Qudra for a fraction of the cost. Furthermore, the Dubai remote work visa provides the absolute flexibility during the blistering heat of August. The executive is trapped in the office. The remote worker packs their laptop, flies to the Mediterranean or the mountains of Georgia for 6 weeks, and continues to execute the USD-denominated contracts without jeopardizing their career path. They control their geography. Phase 5, the Great Executive Migration and the Winston Star. We are witnessing a massive structural pivot in the labor market. I call it the Great Execution Migration. Let me anchor this transition in your mind using the Winston Star methodology. Symbol: imagine a pair of golden handcuffs lying broken on a corporate desk. Slogan: stop earning locally, start extracting globally. Surprise! The most powerful people in Dubai no longer work for Dubai companies. Salient idea: specialized remote talent hold infinitely more negotiating power than traditional middle management. Story: I recently consulted for a senior VP of finance. He was making 50,000 AED a month. He was stressed, overweight, and entirely dependent on his CEO's mood. He audited his life, realized he was trapped in the corporate overhead matrix, and resigned. He transitioned his skill into a remote fractional CFO model, serving tech firms in Europe. He now makes the equivalent of 80,000 AED a month, pays zero tax, and spends 3 hours a day with his 5-year-old child. He broke the handcuffs. The roadmap for 2026. If you are currently trapped in the traditional corporate structure, you must begin your transition immediately. 1. Audit your skills. You must isolate the skills you possess that can be delivered asynchronously over the internet. You cannot be a remote warehouse manager, but you can be a remote supply chain data architect. 2. Sever the local dependency. Stop looking at the Gulf-based job boards. You must build your digital authority on the Open Graph network to attract capital from high-tech's Western hub. 3. Productize your knowledge. Stop selling your physical presence in an office. Start selling packaged, high-leverage strategic outcome that companies are willing to pay for, regardless of where your laptop is plugged in. The 2026 Dubai job market does not reward loyalty to an office chair. It rewards the ruthless mathematical of the global arbitrage. Look closely at the mechanics of the wealth in this city. The people who are truly thriving are not the ones playing the status game. They are not the ones paying the proximity premium or bleeding their capital into the corporate overhead trap. They are the cognitive athletes who realize that gross pay is a vanity metric. They shielded their capital in the zero tax jurisdiction. They recovered their time wealth by abandoning the commute. They buy the stagnant local pay scales by extracting USD directly from the global market. You have a choice. You can continue to wear the golden handcuff, spending 80% of your income to maintain the illusion of executive success. Or you can execute the Dubai arbitrage. Untether yourself, restructure your income, reclaim your time, process the data, execute the strategy, and I'll see you at the